The power of obedience. Lesson from Gideon and the 300. Have you ever felt unprepared, outnumbered, or unsure if what you have is enough? The story of Gideon and the 300 men shows us that God does not depend on numbers, strength, or human confidence to bring victory. In Judges chapter 7, God reduced an army of 32,000 soldiers to just 300, not to weaken Israel, but to reveal his power. This story is not only about a battle in the past. It speaks directly to our lives today, especially when we feel limited, pressured, or afraid of what lies ahead. In this video, you'll understand why God chose obedience over numbers, faith over force, and trust over control. You will see how God still works in the same way today, using what seems small to accomplish something far greater than we expect. If you are facing a situation where you feel like you do not have enough, stay with me. This message may help you see your struggle from a new perspective and remind you that when God is leading, obedience is more powerful than strength. The story of Gideon and the 300, found in Judges chapter 7 of the Bible, shows how God reduced an army of 32,000 Israelites to only 300 men. God used an unusual test based on how they drank water. The purpose was clear. The victory would not be credited to human strength, but to the power of God. The battle was not won with swords or numbers, but with trumpets, jars, and torches, creating confusion in the enemy camp. At that time, Israel was being oppressed by the Midianites. They invaded the land, destroyed crops, and left the people in fear and scarcity. God then called Gideon to deliver his people. But before the battle, God reduced Gideon's army from 32,000 to 300 men, so that no one could boast in their own strength, but only recognize that the victory came from the Lord. This story still speaks to us today. Many times, we feel outnumbered, unprepared, or insufficient. We look at our limitations and think we cannot win. But God often works by reducing what we trust in so that our faith rests fully on him. God gave Gideon a divine strategy. The 300 men were divided into 3 groups. Each man carried a trumpet, an empty jar, and a torch. These were not weapons of war, but tools of obedience. At night, they surrounded the enemy camp. At Gideon's signal, they blew the trumpets, broke the jars, held up the torches, and shouted, "For the Lord and for Gideon." God caused confusion among the Midianites. In the panic, they turned against one another and fled. Israel won a great victory, not by force, but by obedience. What seemed weak became powerful because God was in control. This teaches us that victory comes through faith and obedience, not numbers or human ability. God shows that he uses what is small and weak to accomplish great things, so that his power is clearly seen. The way the men drank water revealed something important. God was not looking for strongest, but for those who were alert, attentive, and ready. God sees beyond appearances. He chooses according to his purpose, not human standards. In our days, God still works this way. He may reduce your options, close doors, or remove supports you thought you needed. But this does not mean he has abandoned you. It means he is preparing you to see his power more clearly. When God leads you into situations where you must depend on him, it is not to weaken you, but to show you who he is. Faith grows when control is surrendered. If this message spoke to you, do not keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Sometimes God uses a simple share to reach a heart. And if you are not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now. Stay connected and continue receiving messages that strengthen your faith, bring clarity, and remind you that God is still working in the details. God still uses what seems small to do great things.